What's up, guys? Dave here. We're going to take a ride in the Cadillac ATS-V and doing a little 2-camera setup for the first time, and I'm just going to talk about this car a little bit while we drive around. Got to head down to the airport post office, my favorite place to go because it's open late and it's it helps you get packages out the door sooner for our customers. Good thing about this car, it's got the garage door remote up here, so you can program it however you like. Let's see how this camera looks coming out the front. Looks pretty cool. So yeah, we've had this car for a little while now, just a few weeks, and the easiest thing to tell you is it is a fantastic freaking car. I know it wasn't a very hot seller for Cadillac, so I've heard, which is ridiculous, but it's probably because when it was new, it was very expensive. This particular car that I have, new MSRP was around $60,000, just with none of the add-ons that came on it. This thing is got quite a bit of fun stuff installed, from the factory, with a full carbon fiber package, awesome Recaro seats, some other suede trim and things. It's just crammed full of awesome stuff. And I looked at the original invoice of this car, and it was almost $20,000 of add-ons was on this car, which is also probably why it did not sell for several months from the original dealership, Capital Cadillac in Smyrna, Georgia. Yeah, this is a 16 model, but it did not sell until later in 2017, and that's probably because it had so much stuff crammed on it that anyone who wanted to buy it would say, nah, no thanks, man. I'm not trying to pay $80,000 for an American 4-door sedan. I don't care how fast it is, which it is. My goodness, it freaking flies. The sun is in my face. It flies like the wind, and it's a turbo V6, twin turbo V6 that is. And holy crap, I've had some fast cars, and this thing is just ridiculous. A lot of touchscreen stuff, to work the air conditioning system and navigation and all that is all done through touchscreen. I'll do a video on things I don't like about this car, because there are a few little things, little nitpicky things that, they just weren't engineered well, or, the technology wasn't done properly. Just little nitpicky things. But otherwise, man, to drive it, I mean, crazy. You'll get in trouble in this thing. However, it is a very safe, fast car, if that makes sense. I've had other cars, like I had the Camaro ZL1, which is the 6.2 liter V8 supercharged, and it's just ridiculous. It was around 600 horsepower. Honestly, a very unsafe car, because the technology could not handle it. Its traction control couldn't handle it. You had to have almost race-worthy tires on it to keep it glued to the pavement. Where this one, it's a lighter car than the Camaro, and it's also only 500 horsepower, give or take a few, but it just does better. Even though this car is only a few years newer, when you hit it, let's do it real quick here. When you hit it, it feels as planted as anything you could imagine. It doesn't feel unsafe. Let me fix this little guy here. It doesn't feel like it's about to get out of control or anything. It feels just good, It's an 8-speed automatic with also optional paddle shifters, so you can downshift, upshift, however you like, if you want to. I do notice, with these 8-speed transmissions, they shift gears a little too early for my liking. They don't allow it to rev up much, which on a turbocharged car, they need to rev. It needs to get hot. It needs to allow the combustion to really heat up. Otherwise, you'll get, intake valve buildup and, turbo buildup, as far as the cleanliness of the components. So I find myself going into, you just bump the shifter over, and then you can paddle shift however you want. I find myself manually shifting more because I like to have it, I like to have the revs just so. Not only for performance sake, but for, for the cleanliness of the combustion chamber. And it's fun to manually shift also. I'm not into the stick shift thing anymore. I used to enjoy that, but clutch and stick shift, it's overrated, man. It's too much hassle, especially if you're having to drive in a little bit of traffic and that sort of thing. It's like, ugh, no thanks. So I'm over the stick shift. Paddle shift, though, is freaking awesome. What else? Yeah, it's got it's got all the standard stuff. Satellite radio, HD, FM radio, full navigation system. It'll even talk to you and tell you where the nearest gas station is when the low fuel light comes on. I found that really cool because I kind of went backwards for a few years. I was like paying way too much in car payments and insurance and things. So I said, I'm over this. I'm over all these fancy new cars that just cost way too much. So I went backwards for a few years. Went to some older models, which was nice and all, but you get, you kind of miss some of the common conveniences of the modern cars. So I went back. Now I'm back with something a little bit newer, but still not all that expensive. This car was expensive when it was brand new, but now that it's a few years old, it wasn't so bad. I've seen worse, as far as the price of a car. Something else cool, when you downshift on it, it'll blip the throttle for you. So if you're actually driving a high performance application or a track car or something like that, it'll act like you're plopping the throttle every time you downshift to keep it nice and even, so it doesn't bounce at all, coming into corners or anything like that. Braking system is fantastic in this thing. Easily one of the better cars I've ever had as far as just how it brakes, because it's got very large rotors, but really smooth braking. You just feel it. And it's got very even distributed braking also, because the front and rear discs shed the same amount of brake dust, which is not that much, but it does shed about equally as far as brake dust, front and rear. So that means it's very even, really cool. It's got, sport modes and track modes as far as its gear shifting and suspension settings. It's got that fully magnetic suspension setup, which was also on the Camaro we had, and it's simply fantastic. Whatever. It's got like automatic headlights if you want to use them. It's got automatic windshield wipers if you want to use them. You can turn them off if you don't want them, but kind of neat, or if you have them on mist, if you have the windshield wipers just on the mist setting and it feels a little more rain come on the windshield, the wipers will go a little bit quicker. So I was like, wow, I didn't even know it had that. It's like totally awesome. It's got doesn't have a large sunroof, but it's not bad. Let's hit it. Thing revs like a Formula One car. Gets a little loud when the sunroof is open. Let's see, red line is just under 7,000 RPMs. Totally sick. You know, it's just a sick car. It downshifts automatically when you come to a stop. Even if you're in manual shift mode, it will go back to first gear on its own, which is cool. What else does it have? It's got, you know, memory settings for the seats for 2 drivers. The when you put it in reverse, the side mirrors, if you select that option, the side mirrors will tilt downward so you can see the curb underneath you. Kind of neat. I don't really use it, but it can do that. Got the sun right in my face. I'm still learning about everything in this thing, you know. It gets good gas mileage. It averages around 20 miles per gallon, even if you drive it, you know, kind of spiritedly. But on the highway, you know, it gets really good gas mileage. But, you know, it's kind of hard to resist stepping on it because it's fun. You know, it's got really good performance. So you just want to have some fun in it. As soon as this light will turn green, I'll give it some. You know, I disabled the... Here we go. Second gear. Third gear. Fourth gear. That's 60 miles an hour already. That's only about half to 3/4 throttle. So, you know, it's like totally sick. 0 to 60 in about 3.7-ish seconds is what I've read. Top speed 190 miles per hour. That's ridiculous. You know, totally ridiculous. Downshift, got right into the sun. That's half throttle. But yeah, I've never had a Turbo 6 before. I'm usually a V8 kind of owner. You know, I love the V8 sound and the V8 feel and all that. But this thing is very torquey. You don't have to give it much gas at all, you know, to get it moving. You know, it has a different sound. It's not the throaty V8 sound, but it still has a good racy sound, which is kind of cool. So I really like it. Insurance wasn't too bad on it. Now I have no points on my record. I don't drive like a fool. You know, I used to do that as a younger adult, but I don't mess around with getting tickets and stuff anymore. Insurance for me, I think, is around $110 a month. That's for only one car on it, you know, because I sold my other cars, so I don't have the multiple car discount. Seats are really comfortable. Uh-oh. Someone has run out of gas in their Mustang. Seats are really comfortable. It's got you know, all these settings on the seat, you know, for lumbar support, and you can, you know, change the settings and everything as far as how it fits you. You know, even on the side bolsters, up and below, fully adjustable. So that is quite nifty. Yeah, the Recaro seat package alone was like $5,000. I think it's like $5,800 just for the seats in this stupid thing. I would have never paid that stuff, you know, if I'd bought this car new. No way. They'd have had to practically give me this car at their cost. But we didn't have to pay all that. And in fact, their price was quite low versus average retail for probably the same reason. Because even with all the options on it, you know, no one's going to pay full retail price for anything, for that matter, especially an American four-door sedan. Nice corner right here. The thing just grips so well. It's got Michelin Pilot Sport. It's got a special Pilot Sport on it. Hit it. So yeah, if you do any Googling on the Cadillac ATS-V or cts-v for that matter, the cts-v has the V8, 6.2, ridiculously powerful. Those are quite valuable now. This one is fairly valuable. It also it'll buzz my seat if I start gaining on a car too quickly, and if I haven't touched my brake pedal yet, it'll let me know that I'm getting close to another car. So, for some things you might think it's overkill and all that, but, if you get distracted doing a video or something, get a little distracted as far as driving, I don't operate a cell phone or anything. I don't talk on the cell phone. I don't text while driving. I don't even have cell coverage. This does have full Wi-Fi in the car. If I had cell phone coverage, it could distribute Wi-Fi throughout the car. Also a pretty neat feature, but I don't have a use for it. But yeah, it has some pretty nifty, it has the typical side mirror, little alert lights. If there's a car in your blind spot over here, it'll let you know. And when you're backing up also, it'll let you know if a pedestrian is walking behind you, or if a car is pulling beside you and you can't really see it. It'll buzz your seat to inform you that you're about to hit something. So that, you can say what you want about it, but it is pretty cool to have it, especially if you've never had a car with those features other than the typical rear bumper alert system. It's just a ridiculously fun car to drive. So anyway, we're about to hop on I-75 South, heading down towards downtown Atlanta. And this time of the evening, we got 7. It's about 10 after 7, so traffic shouldn't be too much of a problem this time of night. And it's fun to get out on the highway and just drive some. Especially if you're constantly working, on your computer or in the shop or whatever, and you don't get out very much. It's good to get out some. Let's see your little microphone here. Who is on the horn? Tow truck up there is laying on his horn at people for some reason. Yeah, the only problem is you can't lay on it, when you really want to get on the throttle, you just can't, because this thing will be at 120 miles an hour in no time. But he can still cruise along at 80 or whatever. It also has little turn signal indicators on the side mirrors, little bitty things, and that's pretty cool. So a person next to you can see, if they're in your blind spot and you're trying to pull, move over a lane, they can see it also, which is kind of cool. With the exhaust, I have the exhaust resonance fuse removed, so it always has a little bit of a throaty sound, because it's too quiet otherwise. A little too quiet, in my personal opinion. I mean, I don't like a car to have an obnoxious exhaust sound, but a little bit of noise is good. So yeah, we're going coming down I-75 here, approaching the Smyrna, Georgia area, which is where the Atlanta Braves baseball stadium is. Truist Park, formerly SunTrust Park. And you can see there's pretty much no traffic. And we shouldn't hit any. And the navigation display will tell me if there's traffic as well. Very cool. So you don't have to use your cell phone, your cell phone map. You don't have to use that for anything as far as navigation and traffic stuff. So yeah, you can take a look at the map a little bit there. It also has a touch screen that you can move stuff around just by your finger. It's kind of neat. I see a little bit of traffic approaching the downtown area, which is pretty common. It's not bad though. Shouldn't be bad at all. So yeah, we're cruising in 8th gear now at 75 miles per hour, around 1900 RPMs. So not bad. Fairly quiet also. Gas mileage, it'll tell me. It's got all kinds of different display options you can do. Yeah, we're showing 26 miles per gallon. If I let off the throttle, 40 miles per gallon. So yeah, if you lived in very flat terrain, you could get really excellent gas mileage in this thing. Fun here. 80, 90 miles an hour, just like that. Gotta be careful because there's a little speed trap area where the Georgia State Patrol is always hanging out right here around Cumberland Boulevard. We're now inside of I-285, which is the perimeter highway that goes around Metro Atlanta. But yeah, you've lived here as long as I have. You know there's certain areas where the cops are always hanging out. And Georgia State Patrol has a few areas inside of 285 where they're always looking for speeders. So, just to hang tight, just keep it loose. Also, what's kind of cool, on the head-up display, it'll tell you the speed limit of the road you're on or the highway you're on, as well as your speed. So that's kind of cool. Thoroughly enjoyable car. It's, when I say I'm at I've just turned about 41,000 miles on it, and at 45,000 miles, pretty significant service is called for. Lots of major fluids are to be flushed, including the transmission. So we shall do that when it hits 45,000. I like to do all major fluids, before 50,000 miles. Brake fluid, coolant, power steering fluid. I'll probably even get the air conditioning Freon evacuated and replaced. Because, we don't have a lot of miles on this car, but we are up to almost 5 years. It's really about 4.5 years of service this car has been in. And once you start getting around the 4-year to 5-year mark on any car, the fluids need to be replaced. Especially if you wanted everything to perform to its best. Nice little highway. I don't like following behind ditch witch kind of vehicles because they'll throw dirt on you and stuff. They'll throw rocks and pebbles on you, so I will get past this truck promptly. You're just asking to get a chipped windshield when you follow one of those trucks. We've also got full tilt and telescoping steering wheel that can be set to memory. So if you had 2 different drivers in this car and they all had different seat locations or steering wheel locations, when the second driver gets in, if they just push their button over here on the door, it'll set everything up for the driver as well as the side mirrors. So that's pretty sweet. It has an excellent sounding stereo also. Totally excellent. I think it's got a 9-speaker system, including a center speaker and a subwoofer. One of the better sounding stock stereos I've heard. Unfortunately, it does not have a CD player, which I guess most modern newer cars don't have it. But I still own a lot of CDs, you know. I'm one of those older guys. I still have a pretty large CD collection, and I don't really use my MP3s on my mobile device, you know. Especially if you got, XM satellite radio, you really don't need MP3s personally. I mean, there's just so much good music you can listen to, or whatever you want to hear for that matter. Not necessary to have MP3s, for me at least. Been doing a good bit of car shopping lately. Looking for some cool cars to resell, actually. And when you know cars and know motorcycles so well, it's like just so difficult to find one that you know is good, because you can pick them apart. See that? Just like that. Truck slammed on his brakes, which you saw in the mirror there. Fortunately, I was already changing lanes, but that truck slammed on his brakes. I came up on him quicker than I was expecting, and my seat buzzed, as well as the head-up display told me, "You're about to hit somebody." Luckily, I was about to change lanes anyway, but yeah, I got that on the camera display there, so it's definitely can be handy. So I'm sure we're going to get into a little bit of traffic here coming into downtown Atlanta, which is just another mile or two ahead. So we can do, now we're going a little bit slower, we can open the sunroof. The weather just took a drastic change to more fall-like temperature just yesterday, for a matter of fact. Because we had a really hot summer, and then it's literally 2 days after the first day of fall, temperature dropped a good 15 degrees. It's pretty amazing how, it's like how the calendar knows that the temperature is about to change. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but literally 2 days different. There's a Cadillac CTS. Not a V model. You don't see many of the ATS or the CTS-Vs. At least I don't. I don't see them very often at all. I saw a CTS-V the other day at a gas station, but it was an older one. It wasn't the newer ones, which are like $100,000 freaking dollars. What else do I like about it? I like that it has plenty of ways to open the trunk. You can either use the key fob, of course, or you can use a button on the door, or you can use a button on the trunk itself. So that's very handy. As far as computer chip tuners, a little bit limited on what's available for this car. Especially affordable ones. Some of them are well over $800 and $900 for a tuner, and some of them you have to send in files to the company, and then they will send you back files to install on the tuner. So yeah, that's a little bit. It's kind of nice, I guess, if you want a custom tune done, and you could bump this thing up to well over 550 horses, if not close to 600 horsepower. If you wanted to pay for some pretty significant chip tuning. So I haven't done that as of yet. I kind of doubt I will, because this thing needs no help whatsoever. The completely sparkling blue sky in Atlanta, not a cloud in the sky. We are about to get ready to get back to the motocross track. That's coming soon, hopefully this weekend actually. May get up there this weekend. I'm one of those fair weather riders now as far as motorcycles and dirt bikes. Loud truck in front of us. But yeah, most likely, probably, yeah, we'll get back to the last track, one of the last, not the last, but one of the last tracks I rode this year, or this summer, you know, the early part of the summer. One of my favorite tracks to go, and I had a pretty good endo accident on it. You know, I don't ride very hard, I don't push my limits, I ain't trying to ride like that anymore. But it wasn't due to rider error, actually. It was a mechanical, it wasn't really a mechanical error of the bike, but it was mechanically induced by track conditions. Totally weird how it happened. Close this thing here. Yeah, totally. So, I mean, I've only had a few good crashes in my life of riding, but this one was a good one, and I totally endoed going over a third gear double. Landed on my head, actually, and if it hadn't been for my Liat neck brace, I would have probably been severely injured, because I landed square on the top of my head. And you know, if you land from that high up on your head, you're probably going to break your neck or something, and that didn't happen to me at all. In fact, it cracked part of the neck brace. I haven't really talked about it much because I wanted to go back to the track where it occurred and show you everything of how it happened, and it was one of the more bizarre crashes of my life, and I totally did not get injured, thank goodness. But it totally sold me on the Liat neck brace. I highly recommend them if you've never used one. Some people think they're too restrictive. I think it's completely worth it, because I would have gotten hurt big time if I'd not had mine on. And you get used to them. You know, it's not like it's keeping you from moving that much. It'll keep you from moving, you know, a little bit in some areas, but it doesn't restrict you as much as you would think. And you get used to it. So I recommend them if you've never had one. A little bit of traffic here coming into the downtown connector, which is where two major highways come together, I-85, I-75. They meet here right on the north side of Midtown Atlanta. That's what we're approaching right now, which is why you see this traffic here. Lots of construction now in the Midtown area. In fact, I used to live in Midtown, gosh, 25 years ago. And aside from a few of the really tall skyscrapers, it was not like this 25 years ago. So a lot of people have moved into the Midtown, downtown area, and construction, you know, for residences and high-rise apartments and condos and all that has gone crazy over the past 10 to 15 years. But yeah, I don't think I would want to live down here now. It's gotten too busy. What else does this car have? It also has automatic down as well as automatic up windows. Kind of cool. Oh look, there's a postal truck right next to me there. He's probably heading down to the main Atlanta post office that I'm heading to as we speak. Because it used to be open until midnight, but now it's open until 10 p.m., which is great to be able to get packages down there late, get them out the door quickly, please the customer, you know. because this is one of the busier times of the year as far as the power sport industry, motorcycle, ATV, dirt bike industry of tools and parts and things. This, September is one of the busiest times of the year for that kind of stuff. So we try to get our stuff out as quick as we can, and sometimes we get backlogged so much that it's difficult to get a package out within 2 business days. It's just so busy. Who's that? Some dude on a CBR 1000, looks like he went by us there. A newbie wearing his pajama pants or his Air Jordan track pants. Yeah, whatever. It's the 17th Street Bridge we're going under here, which is fairly new. It didn't used to be here. I think it's been maybe 10 years since they built it. Look at that little M3 going by us with his cocked out wheels. Notice the new Carvana thing on the right there. If you've noticed, Carvana now has vending machines for their cars. You can see that over to the right. So that's pretty hilarious. You can order a car on Carvana and you can come pick it up from this vending machine that's got like 10 cars stacked up on it. I think it's hilarious. And what? Carvana is becoming pretty popular, actually. I mean, a lot of people who don't like dealing with going to a dealership to buy a car. I totally get it because it's so time consuming, takes forever, and you don't want to be hassled, you don't want to be haggling with a salesman and all that. Where Carvana, their prices may not be all that great, but you don't have to hassle and haggle and hear a bunch of BS, from the F&I guy or the salesman and all that. No, you just order the car you want. They'll even deliver it to your front door. Whole process takes less than 30 minutes, as far as the delivery of the car. I saw a neighbor of mine have that done. I said, I'll be dang, look at that. It was a couple of years ago when Carvana was a relatively new thing. So yeah, it's pretty typical, even though it's almost 7:30. We got a little bit of traffic going through downtown Atlanta here. So it's fairly typical. Let's see if we can tilt this mirror a little bit, or window to camera. It's I've got 2 Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Pluses now for filming use, because the picture is really good quality, the audio is good quality, even though I'm using a wired mic for right now. Trying to up our game a little bit on shooting videos and things. Now, you may have noticed that we haven't done any motocross videos as of late on either of our YouTube channels. We were sitting on 2 copyright strikes on both channels for quite a while. You can thank good old NBC for those. So really gotten kind of over it and frustrated with them, how they will throw a copyright strike at you. They won't even give you a warning or anything. So it's like, whatever, man. It's not worth the risk to do that stuff. Even though we probably will, now that we're in limbo between motocross season and supercross season, we're kind of in that limbo area. And are they even going to do the Monster Cup this year? I haven't even looked into it. It's usually around October. But right now, there's no racing going on as far as the United States. I mean, there's some overseas in Europe and Australia and all that, but none in the U.S. So we may do some more race videos soon. Going under the North Side Drive. No, we're not North Side yet. That's 10th Street. Or that's actually the Georgia Tech. Yeah, that's the Georgia Tech area. So we're right around 10th Street there. And approaching North Avenue, which is right around Georgia Tech. And the Varsity, if you see this big V, this big neon V ahead of us on the left there, the Varsity is a place it's a restaurant. You know, it's one of the first drive-in restaurants that's been around since 1928. And it's still got drive-in where you can drive in and be served by a car hop, or you can go in and sit down and eat. But it's very, you know, it's nothing fancy. It's just chili dogs, hamburgers, basic sandwiches, but it's got some of the best onion rings in anywhere because they're freshly made. Vidalia onions made in onion rings, and they're totally awesome. You know, frosted orange, chocolate milk. Gotta watch these people around us here. Yeah, if you ever come into Atlanta, go to the Varsity. It's nothing fancy, but if you're looking for something just yummy and cheap, it's got it. Like, see, we're in traffic right here going around, you know, 15, 20 miles per hour. I just keep the car in third gear in manual shift mode. That way it's not constantly shifting gears back and forth and all that. It gets very annoying. You know, when these 8-speed, 10-speed automatics are constantly shifting gears, I think that's annoying, and I personally think it's too much wear and tear on the transmission. Shifting back and forth and all that. No thanks. It's almost dark now. Sun is going down early and coming up late in the morning. You notice, boy, it's like 7 a.m. before the sun comes up now. One of the harvest moons has been out lately, and it's been extremely bright overnight. So you'll think you're like running late for work or something. Go, wow, is the sun already up? No, the moon is what's so bright. So it gets a little annoying. Who is that? You'll see people racing down through here. Totally ridiculous, you know. You guys in their freaking Chargers and Challengers and stuff racing through the downtown connector, and it's got a little curvy wave to it, you know. This is a pretty sharp curve area. Little do they know that we would stomp them like nobody's business if we wanted to. But yeah, there's too much traffic around here. I ain't trying to weave through a bunch of traffic. But yeah, there'll be sometimes you come down through here and guys are going 120. I don't know why they're racing people, you know, through this section of highway. I have no idea. Especially when Georgia State Patrol loves to camp out around here and look for those dudes. But it would definitely be fun to take this car, you know, to a road course, you know, like to a track like Barber Motorsports Park or Road Atlanta. You know, they have Atlanta Motorsports Park in northern Georgia. Quite a few places that they have public track day, you know, so you can really cut loose on your car safely. That'd be fun, you know. Might consider doing that one day. Or go to a driving school or whatever in your car. You know, I think that'd be pretty awesome. We can get over here. Steering wheel in this thing is really comfortable. You know, it's got like a suede material around it, so it's, you know, it feels soft in your hand. It's got a nice little palm position right here. It doesn't have the flattened off thing like the ZL1 did. Had like a flat section on the bottom. This car does not have that, but everything else looks very similar as far as a racing style steering wheel. near the state capital of Georgia. Now we're about to go under I-20, which is a major east-west highway. Cruising along down through here. Still a little bit trafficy. It's more than I thought it would be, actually, but it's not awful. So yeah, I've been looking at cars to purchase, to actually resell, and some of them are what some people would classify as bucket list cars. And cars that someone who wanted one would be willing to pay more for it. And you'd be surprised at what's on that list. The Mazda Miata, the Mini Cooper, of course the Ford Mustang GT, especially a convertible, the Chevy Camaro, SS, or any of those with a V8, the Dodge Challenger, the Dodge Charger, the Hellcat, of course, the Chevy Corvette. All those fall into bucket list cars as far as reasonably priced ones. Then you go up, of course, to your really high-end stuff, your Porsche, your Ferrari, Aston Martin, McLaren, all those really expensive cars, Lamborghini, things like that. But I'm not really in a position to be buying that caliber of car. I've been looking at some others, just to see what's out there. Of course, the used car market is quite strong right now, which is why I sold my previous cars, just to see how the market would treat them, and treated them quite well, if I do say so. I'm even considering selling some of my motorcycles because the market is strong. So I guess we'll see about that. I would like to hold on to, at least one dirt bike, especially Mr. White. Mr. White's my favorite dirt bike. If you haven't seen through my channel, make sure you look for YZ250 videos on my channel. Mr. White is the beloved. Had that bike longer than any other dirt bike I've owned, and it's pretty fantastic. 270cc. It now has the Electron 38mm carburetor, which is fantastic. It's a beauty, and we just did a 1992 retro plastics and graphics kit on it. So if you haven't seen that, go back a few videos and look for the retro kit we did to Mr. White. Pretty sweet, if you ask me. I haven't even ridden it yet with the new look we've done to it. And also our custom Harley bobber that we did a couple of years ago. Got several recent videos about that. Also a fantastic custom bike. But you just don't have a lot of time. You don't have a lot of time to go riding. Don't have a lot of time to have fun, which is kind of disappointing. If you're really busy, a busy person, and if you have a woman in your life. If you have a woman in your life and you want to do stuff with her, you probably should do stuff with her. Otherwise, she will complain a lot, and that's not good. So we take care of our lady, the lovely Christina, who some of you are familiar with. She has lots of videos on my channel as well, so look through my channel for the hot Latin female. Got a whole playlist of her as well. She's totally gorgeous, brilliant, smart, beautiful, funny, cute, all of the above basically. And she loves fast cars and fast bikes, so you gotta like that. We are almost to the main Atlanta post office. Well, we're looking at 50 minutes now, 50 minutes of driving, which which sounds insane just to go drop off packages, but when you've got 20 or 30 packages you need to get out quickly, it's worth it. It's worth it to come on down here and do what we can to please the customer. Anyway, I just wanted to chat with y'all for a little bit about this awesome car, and we'll be doing more videos soon, more good ones. It's all coming soon. We got some older videos coming as well, older motocross videos, some even from the 1990s, race videos and stuff. So it's all coming soon, so hang in with us. But we still have over 1,700 videos. So if you just go to the all videos playlist and just start looking, you'll be probably impressed by what you find, because there's a lot of them. Anyway, we appreciate y'all hanging out. My name's Dave. They call me Biker Dave because I used to be a bike messenger way back in the early 90s, and that was my nickname, Biker Dave, so it stuck. Look how this thing hugs the curves. Totally. Totally fun. Anyway, so yeah, check out our other videos. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and feel free to comment down below or anything you see on any video of ours, and we try to respond to everything. And that's that. So coming up on the post office now, and hope y'all have a good evening. We shall see y'all later.